Hi, I'm Steph, and thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please click like and all the YouTube stuff. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Your support is really important to me, and it means a lot. So this is my last Christmas-related video for 2022, and this is another one that I didn't love as much as I wanted to. I watched the film Spirited, which is Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds in a Christmas Carol spin kind, or it's an adaptation, but not really. It's like its own thing. So let's see. Spirited is a musical. It's a comedy, I guess. It feels like it's somebody's passion project. Like someone was really excited about this film, and everybody in it seems to be having a really good time, but I feel like it kind of missed the mark a lot. I really like the idea of the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future continuing to visit naughty folks once a year and try to inspire them to change their lives. I think that's a great premise. I love that Marley and Scrooge are both involved. I think the casting was fine, and there were a few things that made me laugh. But I'm sorry to say that overall the movie wasn't good enough that I'm going to be in a hurry to return to it again next year, which is too bad. The choreography is good. It's really good, but I felt like it was a little bit repetitive. There are a lot of shots of feet tap dancing on tables, and I couldn't even tell you if they did different steps because it all kind of looks the same. And I'm not a dancer or a tap dancer, so maybe that's part of the problem, but I am a big fan of musical theater and musicals, and I feel like the music in this movie was pretty basic. It feels like a musical written by a college class who are learning to write musicals, which surprised me. Two of the songwriters behind La La Land and The Greatest Showman were involved in this, and I feel like the music in La La Land in particular is charming and really catchy, and The Greatest Showman is a good example of a musical that's elevated by music that's better than the story. Like the music's pretty good in that one. But this time around, the music just didn't live up to what I would have expected from professionals. Some sequences in the movie actually lag really bad. Like there are scenes where you're just like, okay, we get it. Go on. Let's get on to the next bit. Particularly, there's a scene with Will Ferrell and Octavia Spencer as they walk around New York, and they sing this like budding romance song, and it's okay. It's just really, really long, and it feels like we, the audience, are being distracted from the primary action, from the storyline, from what's going on with Ryan Reynolds' character. Will Ferrell can sing, but he's not really a musical kind of performer. His energy was just a little bit off, and I don't know if that's maybe he's just getting a little older, and I don't know, like it's just not, he doesn't seem completely committed to the performance in every scene. Most of it he does, but there are a few scenes where I was like, he's just not quite all in on that part. And speaking of him getting older, he's only 55, but for some reason he looks a lot older in this film. They did him with gray or grayish white hair, and I don't know why, but that's fine. Octavia Spencer is 52, so the two of them being a couple, it makes sense. But spoiler, at the end, they have children, and that's a little bit of a stretch. But it's a fantasy movie, so I guess we'll just roll with that. Ryan Reynolds has become one of these actors who seems to play basically himself or the same character in everything. And maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. I haven't seen everything he's ever made. But his role in this movie, in Spirited, wasn't all that interesting and engaging. He did fine. He was funny and charming. Like I said, I did laugh a few times. His singing is good enough. But I'd like to see Ryan Reynolds do something else. Do something besides the charming, funny rogue, and see if he can really act. If you're basically playing yourself in every movie, is it really acting? I don't know. So this movie did give him a chance to be a little bit more of a jerk type character, which is different than what he usually does, I suppose. And he does get to show some strong emotion in the second hospital scene. And that's a clue that he probably can really act. But, writers and directors just keep casting him as Ryan Reynolds as such and such. And then they write characters for him to play that fall into this same thing because everybody likes him. He's a very likable guy. But a lot of these characters he plays are a lot like him in real life. If you watch his little YouTube videos and things like that, like it's all just Ryan Reynolds. Will Ferrell similarly does a lot of his familiar shtick. There are some moments that reminded us of Elf. They're both clearly having a really good time, which is fine. It's a watchable movie. It's not the worst thing I've sat through, but I just feel like it wasn't as good as I expected it to be. Again, I did like the premise, and I liked the idea that Reynolds' character like tries to run away from the ghosts instead of just accepting the visions. Usually, you know, when you watch the Scrooge story, he just kind of is like, okay, I'll go along with this and see what you want to show me. And Ryan Reynolds kept trying to run away, which was a good twist. Like, that was fun. So there were some really good elements, but I don't feel like it was enough to save what turns out to be kind of a bland, overproduced show. It's glitzy and it's shiny, and I can see what the writers and the composers were aiming to create, but I feel like it just doesn't quite land where they wanted it to. A lot of the humor, like I said, falls kind of flat. I did laugh. There was one joke about the afterlife being a musical, which I thought was quite funny. But a lot of the humor feels like Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds are winking at the audience or each other instead of just actually being funny. And I was left really disappointed by that. So if you love Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell enough, you might love Spirited in spite of its weaknesses. But for me, I feel like the two of them were not quite enough to salvage it. I don't have a rating system, but if I did, it would be kind of on the lower end of the scale. I did finish it, which is saying something, because like I mentioned in my A Christmas Story Christmas review, if something's really boring me, I won't finish it. So, I mean, this was good enough to finish, but I don't know if it's good enough that I'll be returning to it every year, which is so disappointing because I was hoping for more. And honestly, I was expecting more. And maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. But those are my thoughts. Tell me if you disagree with me. Just be nice. Tell me if you agree with me. If you like this video, click like. If you want to support my channel, go ahead and hit subscribe and, you know, the bell and all the YouTube stuff. And I appreciate all of your support, and I appreciate you watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.